Hello everyone, to all the 37 of you loyal viewers. I just hope you're enjoying this three-part series and all the individual snippets that we've made only for you. I just have a request from you again. Don't forget to comment if you think we are right, if you think we are wrong. Cricket is a game of opinions and we really want to know yours. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we want you to gain access to our videos really as soon as possible. Thank you.
खिलाड़ी वाह वाह जियो खिलाड़ी वाह वाह
I think one thing that is quite interesting is if we could think who from the current lot could maybe be in the list 10 years down the line when we are probably discussing this again. So personally for me, I feel that Pat Cummins, he has really evolved, and he used to be someone who got injured so constantly, but now he has reinvented himself and he just keeps going. I remember him playing against India and on the subcontinent pitches and in India's tour of Australia, and he was just incredible. He just keeps bowling. A great competitor. He was such a great batsman as well. So yeah, for me, I think Pat Cummins is in with a great shout to
I would agree with
be
that.
on this list.
That's the first name that
Be
came
on this
to my
list somewhere
mind
down
as
the line.
well. And I think the challenge for him as well when Australia go overseas in conditions that are less helpful, how well he does there as well. But I think for me, Pat Cummins, I think for you guys, Shubham, Jasprit Bumrah, I think is one definitely to keep an eye in the Test format as well. I think he's super impressive what he's done so far. His return from injury wasn't the best, so he's got to step up. Yeah, because he could finish with an amazing record. I think he could finish as India's greatest seamer, definitely, without a doubt.
I think he already is, in my opinion. I
That's
think he's the
fair shout as well.
greatest. Yeah, I mean, his record at the moment is amazing, and I love looking at the historical records. And I talked about how Marshall, Garner, and Ambrose around about that 21 flat are the best of modern times. The only kind of exceptions to that are Alan Davidson, a wonderful Australian all-rounder of the 1960s, who's still alive. He's 90. Left armour. Gary Sobers always said he was the hardest bowler he ever faced. He averaged about 20.5, not to mention about 24 with the bat. But at the moment, I think Bumrah's about 20.3 or something. We'll have to see how he ends up. But as good as Cummins and Stark and Rabada and others are, if I have to pick one bowler right now in my side in the world, it's Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, it's a fair shout too. Yeah. He's got a 5-wicket ball pretty much everywhere he's played. Like, wherever he's gone, he's taken 5 wickets, and I think he's the first Indian to ever do it. So if he can keep going, he could definitely be up there.
And another one with a ridiculous action, which I think just makes it even more awkward, doesn't it, for batsmen when they're facing them. But I think the ones that I'd chuck in, and we obviously only talked about Hadley. We've not given the Kiwis too much attention on this, but I just think any New Zealander who gets, particularly nowadays, who gets to the top of any rankings deserves a hell of a lot of credit because they don't play that many Test matches.
Right.
And whether or not we'll all play that many Test matches is open to discussion as well. But you've got Trent Bolt's not a million miles away, Tim Southey not a million miles away as well. And just when Ross Taylor became the first player to get the 100 caps in all three forms of the game, I just looked at the games that New Zealand play test matches, and they're regularly playing 2 or 3 Test series. So for them to get anywhere near any record, I think is pretty impressive. So if any of those guys get up there, maybe if the Indians go and do another tour of New Zealand, then Bolt will suddenly start springing up the list again because he found that pretty easy, didn't he? So I'd love to see one of those guys up there.
Echoing that, this summer that just gone, New Zealand played a Test match on the MCG and the SCG. First time we had allowed them on those two grounds since the MCG the last time was 1987, and the SCG was the last time was 1985. That's how I agree. It's a disgrace how we treat New Zealand, but that's how hard it is for them to get records in terms of aggregates. You're right.
They've had some wonderful cricketers over the years, and that's testament to them. Their population isn't big at all, so they've got some wonderful players in their side.
Especially given they've only got usually 11 people in the country who play cricket. Everyone else plays rugby union.
Yeah, rugby union, exactly.
Like New Zealanders are one team that they're liked by everyone because they don't really pose a threat to anyone. So
No, that's not
you
true.
like
Australians
you
don't
like
like
them.
And, one guy we haven't mentioned. We mentioned Trent Bolt and Tim Southee, but just how underrated he is Neil Wagner.
Yeah.
He's outstanding. Like, not the quickest, but just doesn't stop. And Steve Smith, as good as he is, had a difficult time against him in summer, and that just shows how good a bowler Wagner is.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is relentless. And on the Jasprit Bumrah point, we never really thought he would become like our main test bowler because we found him in the IPL and he did well with the Yorkers in T20s and 50 over cricket. Again, thanks to John Wright. Like, he was the one who scouted him and then got him into the Mumbai Indians camp.
Yeah.
But, then he was pushed into test cricket and he did so well in South Africa and in Australia. So, yeah, Jasprit Bumrah is certainly someone to look forward to. And another thing that I noticed in this list was that most of these bowlers are one from not the current era. So again, it just shows that fast bowling as a skill. So they used to be superstars, like you told that Dennis Lilly still is a superstar in Australian cricket. But now they have taken the back seat. It's about the batsmen who are the superstars. Like in India, especially, many of the times, especially before Virat Kohli, the role of the fast bowler was to just come in and create foot marks for the spinners. Just come in, bowl for 5 over spells and create foot marks. But again, yeah, that is a dying breed, like we spoke in the beginning about fast bowlers themselves, and it is something that needs to be revived. So, what do you guys think about that?
No, I agree.
I think there's probably a cultural difference as well there. I think in Australia, Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark at the moment are very, very high profile, and maybe there's a degree of difference there where India's had Tendulkar and then Kohli, and batsmen are much more highly rated. And to an extent, I would agree with that in Australia. But I think fast bowling in Australia is still very much big.
Always in Australia, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, Australia's been blessed with fast bowlers. It's a big focus for us here. I do think India are moving towards more of a fast bowling focus. I think they've got a good core of fast bowlers now compared to what they had in the past. I think they're going to need that if they're going to want to do better overseas. I think that's a big focus for Kohli and co, along with their batting overseas as well. But I think if India can get their fast bowling right, they'll be very hard to beat, I think, going forward.
Yeah, and I guess from a cultural perspective in England as well, from conditions, you don't actually need to be that fast, which is why Broad and Anderson on and Beefy as well wasn't and is on that list. But after every Ashes series that we come back with a 0 in our column, there's always a big debate here. We need to find some fast bowlers. Where are they? What can we do to do it? So at the moment, we've got Mark Wood. There's a couple of others.
If he doesn't break down,
exactly, who are sniffing around, and there's one. Josh Rutt, that's the one. One of the suggestions is literally to wrap Mark Wood in cotton wool until the next Ashes, and even if we just get 2 games out of him, then that would be worth it. But yeah,
I don't think he's good enough. Archer's your man. Archer is good enough. He can do a big job in Australia. Mark Wood's all right, but I don't think he'll succeed down here.
I think if you get to see him play, he's actually incredible. I think he's only played something like he's played maybe 3 tests since in the last 3 or 4 years, and in each of them he's done it absolutely incredibly well. And we think he kind of be tailor made for it. So yeah, let's see if there's any cricket first of all. If England do eventually get to the Ashes, get to Australia, then incredible as well. But we could well see, I think. Probably taking off a bit of what Australia did in the last Ashes and having a kind of a squad of 5 or 6 and rotating them to make sure we get the best out of them.